Alright YouTube, thought I'd do a toolbox review. This is my US General Series 3 42-inch roller cab. So you can see we have our RV7A in the back here, made by Vans Aircraft. I co-own this with the original builder, and we do all of our own maintenance, so naturally we've developed a set of tools. This video I want to highlight some of the tools that every owner should have, especially when you're performing your own maintenance. First off, on the top of the box, always have gloves, textured and non-textured. Got a speaker, have some music in the hanger. For cleanup, something like Fast Orange. And this is really nice. This is a non-aerosol sprayer, so you could load whatever chemical or solvent you want into it and pressurize it. I personally just use aviation fuel, and it missed out. It's a lot cheaper than using multiple cans of brake cleaner. And we'll dive into the box now. So top drawer, this is where use most of your stuff. Top two drawers typically. On the left here I got a set of Tecton 6 points, shallow and deep. These are all really nice. Big labels on them. And they actually lock into the tray. You give them a little quarter turn and they stay put. Various extensions, swivel heads, adapters. These down here, these are also made by Tecton. These are called universal head sockets. So it's the socket built into the adapter. I believe they say 55 degrees is where you could get full rotation. So these are quite nice, especially for hard to get to places like on our airplane here. So very set, typically small stuff is what we need. And then I have the Tecton ratchets, so 1/4 inch mini. And then I got a set of 3/8. What's unique about these is that they all are in the 1/4 inch head style. So they're all very small, easy to get into the tight reaches. Got one of the flex heads, has nice clicks to it there. Forget how many teeth are on these, but they're all pretty smooth. I got a older 1/4 inch as well. What's nice is you could use your thumb to spin it if you're kind of running out of space there. And then I got a little bit of a heavier duty. This is a Craftsman 3/8 that I've had for a while. Here, mostly gear wrench. These are ratcheting in the back, combination wrenches. And I also got up to a 1 inch. 1 inch is really important to get oil filters off. So the top of every oil filter has a 1 inch head to it. So that's really useful for any owner there. Make sure you have a 1 inch wrench. Moving across the top, various magnets and inspection mirrors. You'll need those to get into those hard to reach places and see stuff around the engine or back bolts you can't see. Into my pliers. First off, the rack is from Harbor Freight. It's adjustable, so you can get the tolerances nice and tight. I really like this one. Still got a little bit more space. Some of the stuff I don't necessarily use, but all good to have. These nipbacks are flush cuts, so any zip ties or soft wire, this is really good. You won't be scratching yourself. Set of Craftsman's mini, various dikes, needle nose. Old pair of channel locks, very trusty. Cut through just about anything with these. And a pair that I like even more now, these are Harbor Freight Icons. Much larger dikes. You get a lot of leverage back here. So this is good for cutting cotter pins or just hard to reach areas of safety wire that you need to cut. Really like those. Also made by Nipbex here. These are a set of pliers. Soft jaw, but you could open them up to any size you want. So these are really good for various hose fittings and stuff like that. Everyone should have a set of these. These are really nice. Another pair of Icon slip joints. What's kind of nice about these is that they have a head there with serrations. So kind of like the Van Pliers, if you have a stripped out screw or bolt, you could get this on the end of it and start working it off. Pair of duckbills or just general pliers. For aviation, we use a lot of safety wire to make sure stuff is secure. So these are safety wire pliers. As you can see, they have a jaw up at the top along with wire cutters. So it's a little hard to do with one hand, but there's a locking mechanism here. So you'd squeeze it and slide it down, and now it's locked in place. So if you clamp your wire, you hold it, and then this chrome piece in the back, you pull it, and it extends out and twist the wire as you do it. These are single direction. They make ones that go in both directions, but for simple general aviation purposes, a set of those works great. A couple more random stuff. These are for hose clamps, constant tension ones, so they have a little lock on them. Open it up, squeeze it. If you have any sort of rings that you need to get out, lock rings. These are also Tecton locking pliers. Good if you need to get a hold of something. And this is your last ditch effort if you can't get the oil filter off. It's an oil filter wrench. Coming across the bottom here, spark plug sockets. We use auto plugs in the airplane, so that's the 13/16s. They have rubber inserts, so they grab your plug and don't fall out. And these are more for like your Champions, some bigger ones. This one's actually magnetic. 3H drive. Extra spark plug, aviation style if we need it. Got my lights in here, just a general flashlight, nothing special. Headlamp, this one came from Harbor Freight, has a focusing lens on it, so that works pretty good. And the one that I like the most is this Icon stream light kind of style. It actually has 5 different light settings on it. 2 brightnesses there, 2 brightnesses there, and then 1 on the tip. It's rechargeable, USB-C, and it's also magnetic. So it sits on there, it won't get knocked over, and it's awfully bright as you can see. So that's the low power. I really like this one. Got all sorts of pens, markers. Inevitably you're going to be writing down notes or marking stuff up. Gonna need those. I got some cutting tools here, box cutters, non-marring scraper, plastic blade there. Really good for getting stuff off like gaskets that you don't want to scratch up. Then aviation, you're gonna need safety wire. So any owner out there that wants to do their own maintenance, safety wire goes with the pliers. This is 032. It's typically what you're gonna use on most oil filters, brake lines, stuff like that. Got some very Scotch-Brite. That covers top drawer. Moving down, the next most used. This is gonna be screwdrivers. I got a set of Tecton hard handles. Various sizes. What's nice about these is they're all marked along the sides. Short and long reach. You're gonna want those, Phillips and flatheads. I got a set of picks here, just various Craftsman ones. I also got some punches. Set of pliers for hard to reach stuff. Bits. Moving across, this is probably the nicest screwdriver I have. This is a snap-on mini ratchet. 2-directional. It has a nice little grip there. The tip is magnetic, so if you need to load up a screw, it's not going to fall off. This one's really nice. It just sits in your palm nice, easy to spin. I have one that's a little bit bigger. This is Craftsman, and it has a wheel here that you could turn, that it turns the tip. So if you can't get all the way in there, this is kind of speed wrench style. It's 4 times speed. We were at an airport, so see airplanes in the back. This is also another nice little one, off-brand, but 2-directional for really hard to reach places, like bottom of wheel fairings or something where there's not much room. Even for the stubby, you could get this in there. You need to hook this up to a drill. You can put any socket you want on it, spin stuff off a little bit faster. Mini set. This is kind of nice from Craftsman here. That comes out. This opens up, and you have various torques and sizes for smaller screws. Put that away. Here I got a very set of all sorts of bits, Allen wrenches, a drill. Gonna need one of those. This is also a drill, kind of neat. Nice rubber mat, you can set this on there, won't fall off. Let this airplane go by. This is Harbor Freight. Flexible so it can conform over the wing or on top of the cowling, wherever you need it. Stuff's not going to roll away. You're always going to lose screws. This is a spark plug tray. This one I actually made myself, put a champion sticker on it. So plugs sit in the top, prevents your plugs from rolling away. Aviation plugs are really expensive now, so you don't want to drop them. There's a rule in aviation, you could drop them twice, once on the ground and once in the trash. So those are spark plug tray. Continuing down to lower stuff, this is more miscellaneous here. Got some polish, tire talc if you're doing tires. It's kind of like baby powder, but aviation specific, and prevents any chafing there. Owners, you'll need various lubricants. This is Dow Corning 4, Dow 4. This is really good for gaskets and oil filters. Easy turn fuel lube. If you're doing anything around press fittings and fuel lines, stuff like that, it won't dissolve with oil or gas. And then torque seal. So if you're torquing any bolts, you'll put a little dash across the head of this just to make sure there's no rotation. It's really good for just a quick inspection. And bow lube, this is good for keeping drill bits sharp. It's almost like a candle wax. We use it for hinge pins, keep stuff sliding nicely. This is a random little set I put together years ago before I had a toolbox. Inside I got some stuff to check spark plugs. Gaps there. Thread chaser tool if you need to clean out any threads. This is spark plug lubricant. You'll put that along the heads of the threads on the spark plug. Various nuts and bolts for headset jacks, soft washers, cotter pins for landing gear. Anything you might need, a little setup there. Fish scale, you could use that to measure the breakout force of the nose gear on the RVs. You could also measure how much your bags weigh. Feeler gauges, if you need to check any thicknesses. Some electrical stuff, ohm meter basically, and measuring tape. Coming down, more miscellaneous. I got a set of metrics. Really no metric stuff on the airplane. Little rail kind of chute I made if you're draining oil and you don't want to get it all over the airplane, you could direct it out. This is a hose, 3/8 inside diameter, 1/2 inch outside if you have a SAP Air quick drain for your oil. Need that size hose. Here's another longer set of pliers. This is for those constant tension clamps. It fits in there. Squeeze it down. Extra clamp if you ever need it. Down here I got my rivet gun. It's a 3X made by Aircraft Tool Supply. There it is in there. Got various heads and bucking bars. We used this recently, it worked real good. Another special tool is the rivet removal tool. This is Aircraft Tool Supply. You chuck this into your drill, and there's a, it's hard to see through the bag there, but basically there's a drill bit on the inside, and it sits over the top of a round head dome rivet, and this slides in and it pushes the drill bit in and just drills off the top of the bit without doing damage anywhere else. So that's really nice to have if you're doing any riveting stuff. Up here I got some personal protection PPE stuff, earplugs, glasses, some gloves, mask, and my air tools. So various air guns, fillers, simple, just air chucks, some tools to measure, valve removal tool. That's helpful if you're doing any tires, you'll need that. This is also a siphon sprayer down here. You could hook that up to the hose and suck out of a jug of whatever and clean it up. Kind of miscellaneous zip ties, Velcro, tapes, floss. If you're ever chasing valve guides, floss is great. Various bags, syringes, cleaners. You never know what you'll need. Down here I got a Dremel set, spark plug cleaner, some various cups, bearing grease tool, prevents some of the mess. And then down at the bottom is more of my pilot stuff. I got some headsets down here. I got my flight bag and a toolkit, which I'll open that up and show you what's in there. So this set's made by American Aviator. It's available on most like sporty shops, or maybe even Spruce will have it. And I've kind of supplemented it with a couple other items. Various wrenches, tire gauge, clamps, mirrors, some Allen wrenches, zip ties. I put my own Tecton hard handle screwdriver in here. I have up to 4 bits on this. And then it also comes out, flips around. We have a lot of Torx on the airplane, so 1 end Torx, 1 Phillips, flathead. As mentioned earlier, the Nipex, this is a mini size one. I think this one will go up to 3/4 of an inch, so pretty good. I have 1 more of these for those hard to reach areas that you can't get the full screwdriver in. Got another spark plug socket there. Pair of cutting pliers. Some more bits up there. There's some safety wire. And then a small ratchet with some various sockets and adapters there. So this is a pretty good flyaway kit. You could do some very basic stuff, change a spark plug, maybe do a tire if you needed. But pretty limited, but hopefully nothing bad happens when you're out in the field. Next I'll show a couple tools the owner pilot should have. This is called an oil filter wrench. It's made by Tempest. It's a torque wrench, where basically this is a 1-inch hex. You'll fit it over the top of the torque wrench and it ratchets. It's hard to do with one hand here, but it's pre-calibrated to 17 foot-pounds, which is the specified torque wrench, or sorry, oil filter value. So this is really handy. It's nice and small. You get into some hard to reach places in the engine bay. So for torquing your oil filters, that's important. This is a great tool to have. Also on the top of oil changes, this is an oil filter cutter. So there's a threaded end here, and you set the filter in, and this is a blade. So you spin it around the oil filter and give it a turn. Spin it again, give it a turn. Eventually you've cut through the top of the oil filter and expose the filter element. Get in there and inspect it. Good tools to have for the owner. Since our airplane's a experimental, we do condition inspections. The builder is able to sign that off. So we have some tools. These are what you're going to see more at the annual inspection. So this is a differential cylinder pressure tester. We measure engine output using PSI. So you hook this end up to the air compressor. You fill the cylinder with 80 PSI. So you use this knob to adjust to get to 80. You open this valve here and read what the cylinder is holding. This attaches to the cylinder. It has the threads for the cylinder, and this piece ends up there. So you measure how much air the cylinder is holding over 80 PSI. Obviously the higher the better, but it could give you some indication of cylinder health. And then if you're also doing owner assisted or your own preventative maintenance, you could do brakes. So this is a rivet removal tool. So the brakes have little pads. This is used to punch it out. You thread this one in. As you can see, we still got some leftover rivets, rivet heads there. And then you put this one back in with the die, and you press those soft rivets in. Nice tool to have if you're doing your own wheels and brakes. One more thing every aviation mechanic has, owners should have it as well, are torque wrenches. Airplanes all have set torque values for various items. You don't want to risk over tightening or under tightening. Both could lead to failure or damage. These are Cobalt brand, nothing too special, but they do the job. 3/8 drive and a 1/4 inch drive. The 3/8 measures in foot-pounds, and the 1/4 measures in inch-pounds. So the lower torque stuff like wheels or brakes, you'll use the 1/4 inch. Anything bigger like exhaust, engine mounts, propeller attach, oil filters, you could use the 3/8 drive. So these aren't too expensive. Harbor Freight, anywhere up from there. Obviously you get what you pay for, but for the mechanic just doing preventative maintenance, you don't need anything too special, but definitely have a torque wrench in your box. Last tool I'll feature is a boroscope. Having a Van's aircraft, there is some inspections that require you to get into the elevator, so there's very little room to do that. Having a boroscope allows you to get into some really tight places. This one just hooks up to your iPad or iPhone. There's a camera lens at the end of that with the light on it. You could take photos of the items. You could articulate the head. As you can see, I'll push a button in the back and it moves around. It locks in place. So you could check out pretty much anything in tight places. For those in general aviation, you probably heard of Mike Bush and his boroscope initiative. So every annual, we inspect our cylinder health by looking at the valves, looking at the pistons, looking at the cylinder walls. Having a boroscope allows you to go through the spark plug hole, check things out, and get some really high-def photos. I don't know the exact resolution on this one, but it's pretty clear to get a good picture. Would recommend having. Thank you all for watching my toolbox review video. If anyone wants to see some of these tools actually in use on the airplane, just drop me a comment below. Maybe I'll show you how to do an oil change on a experimental airplane.